So many of you have been dealing with acne for not just a few months, years, decades, and a lot of our clients have had acne for 20 to 30 years.
Emotional weight, I tell clients, it builds quietly.
It's super visible, it's very public, and it's tied to your identity.
Acne impacts not only the confidence, the social ease, the intimacy, how safe someone feels being seen.
Like, how many times have we had clients say, I canceled the girls' night. I don't want to go on dates anymore because I don't feel beautiful.
Delayed feedback is brutal. What you eat or change today may not show up on the skin for 4 to 8 weeks.
That burnout is causing us to be indecisive. And then you start to over-research.
The pimple is noise. The trends tell the truth.
This is Keep It Clear. Real conversations about skin, acne, and women's health without the overwhelm. Because you deserve answers that actually make sense. Today's episode starts now. So, Cris, this is the part of the acne journey that nobody really warns you about, right? Because it's not the breakouts themselves. It's that exhaustion that comes from trying something again to clear your skin. This is what we like to call the acne burnout. When you've done the diets, you've done the supplements, done the skincare swaps, and instead of feeling hopeful, you're tired, you're guarded, and you're kind of just a little bit numb to the whole thing. And then from the hardest part, on the outside, you're like, okay, no, like I should keep going. But inside, we're carrying literally years of disappointment, second guessing, and this quiet grief, I think is a really good way to say it, that nobody really sees. So today, Cris and I are going to be breaking down that emotional weight of chronic acne.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight. It's rarely just skin.
Fair?
Because acne is usually a signal of a deeper terrain issue. It's going to involve digestion, mineral balance, hormones, liver clearance, stress, physiological things, nervous system load. And we understand that progress is not linear. Clients are coming in saying, I get it. I get it that progress isn't linear. Skin can improve, flare, stall, then improve again. This alone messes with motivation and trust in the process.
100%. And I think a lot of people, when they haven't dealt with acne, right? They don't understand that it's not just a physical, but it's very much a mental and emotional thing as well. And you get those comments like, oh, you just have to wash your face better. Oh, you just need to use this serum.
But it's true. We do get the,
oh, thank you for that. Never would have thought about that. And this thousands of dollars I have on skincare in my bathroom. But acne burnout isn't from like laziness. It's not from lack of discipline. It's that true exhaustion that comes from the hope, right? You get so excited, you hope you're like, this is it. Then you put in the effort, but then disappointment. And you're on that hamster wheel of, oh my gosh, this is it. Oh my gosh, this is not it. And you just feel like you're stuck on this hamster wheel that you can never get out of.
People want clear skin, the end. People want weight loss, the end. People don't want to lose their hair, no matter what it is. It's what goes on inside the brain, even before the thought comes out of the mouth or we say it to somebody. That thought has cycled for maybe hours, days, years. So no, I love that you said it's not about laziness. It's motivation. And nobody is unmotivated. You want clear skin. And I know you want to do things for it. So it's really unfair to say, I just don't want to work for it. That's not true. You're willing to do anything for it. Except it just hasn't worked.
It's exhausting at the end of the day. It is exhausting because so many of you have been dealing with acne for not just a few months, years, decades. And a lot of our clients have had acne for 20 to 30 years. Like, this is not just a few weeks of, I have a few pimples. Like, this has been a lifelong battle that has been constantly sitting there. And acne is one of those things that hits so emotionally hard, more so than the majority of symptoms, right? And I find like acne and weight loss are very, very similar because it's that outward appearance that we show to the world. And I never I never want someone to say, oh, it's vain for me to want to feel good in my skin. It's vain for me to want my skin to clear. If it's not, you want to feel good in your body. You deserve to feel good in your body. And that's why it's such an emotionally taxing thing, because it's super visible. It's very public and it's tied to your identity. And I remember when I was dealing with acne, I was working in television at the time in my early 20s. I was working at Hockey Night in Canada, which if you're not from Canada, that is basically our version of Sunday Night Football. It's the biggest national broadcast in the country. And I so badly wanted to be taken seriously in my role. I didn't want to be looked at like some like pimply aged teenager. And it was part of my identity. And so how I showed up, and I wanted to be, taken as, oh, this is Katie, not, oh, this is Katie with acne. No one ever made me feel like that, but it was so tied to my identity and how I felt about myself that the emotional weight, like I always explain it, like acne feels like this wet blanket you're just stuck carrying around all day.
Emotional weight, I tell clients, it builds quietly. Acne impacts not only the confidence, the social ease, the intimacy, how safe someone feels being seen. People minimize this. Mm-hmm. It should not be minimized. Do not minimize this ever. This is, delayed feedback is brutal, right? So they've tried all the things, they've done it. And the body isn't just going to be like, oh, girl, thanks. Oh, hey, bro. Yeah, perfect. No, it doesn't work like that, right? What you eat or change today may not show up on the skin for 4 to 8 weeks. That lag creates doubt, that second guessing, right? That's that emotional weight. But the thing is when you're doing something, we want, again, that gratification, not the delayed feedback. We don't have that understanding. And that's part of the emotional weight, the carrying of this didn't work, or what next, or I can't do it anymore, or I can't leave the house.
So many clients, right? Because when you think about acne, it quietly affects every aspect of your life. It's impacting your confidence and how you feel in yourself, your self-esteem. It's impacting your social plans. Like how many times have we had clients say, I canceled the girls' night because I just didn't feel comfortable going. I want to say no to going to that wedding. I want to say no to being a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding. I don't want to go on the beach vacation. I don't want to go to the cottage or the lake with my family because I'm so insecure. It's impacting my dating. I don't want to go on dates anymore because I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel sexy. It's for me, like I was, Frank and I married yet? No, not yet. It was impacting my relationship with my then boyfriend, now husband. Like I didn't want to be intimate with him when I had like breakouts on my back and like on my face. Like I didn't want him to like touch me. Like he didn't care, but I cared. And even like I mentioned, it impacts how you show up at work. Are you showing up with confidence? Are you speaking up in a meeting? Are you sharing your ideas? Are you asking for that promotion? Are you applying for a new job? I have so many clients where they're fresh out of school. They're like, I want to apply for this, adult job because I'm an adult now, like I was, but I want to be taken seriously and I don't think I am. And so just sit there for a minute and I would love for you to reflect on how is this impacting my day-to-day? How is me having acne impacting my relationships, my partner, my friends, my family, my children, my work, my social life? How is it impacting your life? Because it's a very, very heavy weight.
It is. And what do? You head for the makeup.
Oh, yeah. I was packing on the TV makeup.
I cannot count. You probably should have started that, but didn't even think anything of it. The amount of women that have told me, I will not leave the house without a full face of makeup.
Yeah.
If I run out of bread and I need bread for something I'm making.
Full face.
I need to go to the grocery store. Because I was asking about the interconnections and the emotions and stuff. Not leaving the house without to go grab a loaf of bread.
That was
Put
me.
a hat on, run in, run out. No. It is a hard no. If you've dealt with that, it is a hard no. It is not only am I going to conceal it. And I've shared too that, my eldest has the thick of the acne, like the poor kid.
She loves you talking about it on our podcast. Thankfully, she doesn't listen.
And she's so over me. So I don't have to worry about it. But, and I'll look at her and I guess my eyes wander and she's like, you're looking at my acne. And I'm like,
I do this for a living.
I'm actually looking at the piece of hair that's coming out of your head that had nothing to do with acne. Mm-hmm. And it throws me for a second. And I'm like, Peyton, love, I don't need to look at your acne. I see it regardless because it's what I do. A waiter, if you or a waitress, you'll know this. When you go to a restaurant as a customer, you know that you expect your drinks by a certain time or eye contact or somebody to your table because you're in the industry. Mm-hmm. So that is, and then, she would get, and then I finally turned around and I said that this isn't on me. This is a confidence piece. Huge. This is, oh my gosh, she hides. And kids today are much different with acne. You have acne, everybody has acne. I don't know why people walk with these bright star acne pimple patches through the mall. I am like, why don't you just say you have acne?
But I find it's also a very different time because I was recently looking at old photos from high school. My kids wanted to see photos. And when I think back, like, I don't think back and remember, oh, this person had acne, or, oh, I remember this person having pimples. I looked back at our photos and I was like, crap. Oh, no, so many of my friends had acne. So many friends had pimples, but it never once crossed into my brain of, oh my gosh, that person's skin. Not once. And never have I ever reflected and thought about that. And when I was faced with it, I was like, oh, it's so interesting because back then, nobody really noticed, cared about it. But because this new generation is on social media and Instagram and TikTok and filters and like kids doing Korean skincare routines at 8. Actually, I probably would have been that child. I was like, 100% would have been. 100% would have been. But in today's world, it's such a visual medium. Like, we are living in the most visual society that humankind has ever lived in the history of us being here. And so it's so interesting to see because now kids are wearing the pimple patches and they're being so aware. And it's like now you have like acne lines for like teens. Like, and we get emails every other day being like, hey, can we come on your podcast for acne skincare line for our teens? And back in the day, like, you got Proactive. Like, that was your option in St. Ives Apricots.
And those little oxy pads.
The oxy pads that just burn the crap out of your face. Or
hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, toothpaste.
Yeah. See, so I am seeing a shift. So I'm hoping that the confidence is there, but it's not there. It's hidden. And I really want to talk about not just, start and the stop, but the hidden cofactors. And what I mean by that is, and I'll see it. And again, I mean, like, I might do this for a living, but my daughter, my middle daughter also has acne. It kind of comes and goes, like these types of things. But I think she's cusping on autoimmune. Thanks, mama. Again, I'm not trying to parent and play this role. So we have people working on that. The difference is the middle one has such confidence. So if she gets a breakout, she's just like, what is going on? I am way too beautiful to put a damper on my day. Like where she gets this confidence, it actually makes me not. I have to take Nox Vomica sometimes because it makes me so nauseous.
I love the confidence.
Her outward confidence is boom in your face. I'm beautiful. I'm pretty. I'm this. I'm that. But when she says these things, I watch people around her and she commands the environment. People gravitate towards her because she's just like, she doesn't care. She's like, why are you getting involved in that? Just be beautiful like me. Right?
I love this. She's
where
the
eldest one is not like that. She's very kind and she's super giving, but stubborn as stink. Right?
Can confirm.
So this type of thing. So what shows up for her is she'll look at a picture and she'll be like, oh, this girl is so beautiful. And like my kids will give accolades to other people. My middle one will be like, yeah, she's okay. But again, I'm prettier. Right? Like it's quite annoying. But when she's like, she's beautiful. I said, oh, what makes her beautiful? She goes, oh, well, look at her skin.
Look at her skin.
There's the validation.
Skin is huge right now.
There's the validation. What makes her beautiful? Not the hair, not the clothes.
The skin.
There's no confidence. It's a picture. There is nothing about this person other than they've been validated by the skin. This is why we hold it on our sleeve. So when you go to the bank and you're, do we do this anymore? But we need to get a money order because we're buying a car.
What are you even talking about?
Whatever. Do we do this? It's a society, it's different because these kids, yes, it's social, but they're only showing and filtering what we want. They have the ability. We didn't have that. We had that we had to go out. Kids are also not going to the grocery store, so it'll still impact them in a different way. But then what I'm saying is very hidden like things is when you walk up to somebody and you have a conversation, you're looking at them, looking at your acne, and all you're thinking is, they're staring at my acne. Gosh. What are they thinking about my acne? What's going on? When I ask people for pictures of their face, because we take pictures, this is an inflammatory marker for us. This is an organ system, bodies. I see the acne, but I'm not looking at it like that. Like, I don't see acne that way. So when I look at my daughters, I'm like, what did you eat? That's one thing. I'll know if it's eating because it's a certain area. Or I'll say, hey, when you ate yesterday, how much fat did you have? Like, let's walk through the fat foods and I'll remind them because it's eccentric around the temples or something like that. Or, they're super stressed out and I'll see it in other places, maybe even on their chin, or their menses is coming, like these types of things. I should probably, we should teach men how to read the acne on the face then for PMS. So they know, go to a hotel.
If the irritability isn't enough.
Hotel. No, but those are the cofactors. So that's something hidden is where are you seeing beauty in other people and what makes them beautiful? Because it could be the most nasty person. But to you, they're beautiful because their skin's beautiful.
And it really is so difficult, right? When we're inundated with those visuals of perfect skin all the time. And then so of course we're like, okay, like we need to figure this out. I need to clear my skin. And all of a sudden we have this massive pressure around starting again. Because in your brain, my brain's like, okay, well, I failed at the last time I did this. This didn't work. And every time we start a new plan, it is asking for you to give belief. So you need to have belief and hope that this is going to work. It's asking for you to probably have financial investments, a time investment, and emotional energy. That is a lot of pressure when you've been burned so many times before, because after all of these years and sometimes decades of trying things, the body almost braces for disappointment and expects it.
You've taught it.
You've actually taught it, right?
You've taught your body to embrace that disappointment.
100%. So then what happens is we want to try something new, but that burnout is causing us to be indecisive. We're like, I don't know. I don't know if I should try this. I don't know if this is going to work. And then you start to over-research. You're like, I'm going to research for the next 16 hours straight, every nook and cranny of the internet, of the online world, to over-research X, Y, and Z. And like our clients are so well-researched, they come in, they've done research. Or maybe that burnout is showing up avoidance, as avoidance, where you're like, you want to know what? I have this wedding coming up. I'm just gonna wait until after the wedding. I have this trip coming up. Christmas is coming. Easter is coming. Birthdays are coming. I'm just going to wait because you're avoiding it, right? You're giving yourself that avoidance. And then the one that we also often see quite a bit, Cris, is jumping in so hard. They do all of the things. They're like, I'm going to take 15 supplements. I'm going to do all of this because I really want to make it worth it. And what do we see when that happens?
Burnout. Acne burnout right there.
Acne
Not
burnout.
just that. It could be one supplement, joining the gym, changing your eating style,
buying a bunch of biohacking gadgets.
It could be all of that. So
at once.
You want to go buy a vibrating plate? Fantastic. Have at her. But what else are you doing? Because all of these things take time and understanding and order. So when we do that, it's like, oh my gosh. And then you get burnt out because you're already burnt out. So yeah, there's an adrenal component. Don't get me wrong. Burnout just doesn't hang out. It's, again, more into that stress-like pattern where we're depleting those minerals that even can help us bounce back.
Because, we start to overcorrect everything is what we're doing. We're like, let's do all of the things. I find there's two camps, right? There's the overcorrector and I'm going to do nothing. Because you go so numb that you stop trying altogether. You're like, no, I'm going to avoid. And a lot of people, like when we start to pull back that mindset, is it's comfortable to live in your discomfort because it's a known discomfort. You're familiar with it. It's safe. Even though you don't want to be there, you feel safe in the discomfort because you've been so let down.
It's a stress response. Yeah.
Or you swing that other way and you are doing new food rules. I'm gonna eat all these foods. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna buy all of these new supplements. I'm getting a full new skincare routine. I'm getting a vibration plate. I'm getting an LED face mask. I'm putting a new plan together. I'm doing. And like you said, these are two protective responses, not failures. And why do we do these things, Cris? Because that constant change feels what?
It feels productive. Absolutely.
It feels productive, but it's just adding more confusion. And it adds so many variables as well. How do you know what's working, what's not working?
How do you know what to take out? This is why people that go on pharmaceuticals and they get a tiny little stepping stone of, oh my gosh, I have less on my right jaw. That's like, it could still be everywhere else, but I have a little bit on my left. I think that's the hope. That's the trap. I think it's working. If you think it's working, how do you know it's working? And that's that limbo. And that's what we live in, is I think it is, until you've determined it's not. Because again, is it fast enough? You know what I mean? Like, so these things, but that protective response is something I want everybody to be aware of, because even when you say, oh, you know, yeah, his skin looks fantastic and they can eat whatever they want. And oh my gosh, I don't want my kids to have acne. So then what parents even do is, as soon as around, you know, it becomes hormonal time, they're scanning children's faces. Their child gets acne and they're like, and it all comes flooding back. And then we've seen even parents, and parents have admitted to us, they are focusing all their time and energy on their child because they don't want them to live through what they lived through. And that's exasperating the burnout on the child. And so we rather get you out of that cycle. Doesn't it sound nice to get out of that cycle, to know that it's not failures or all lessons, to understand that, you know, what you did is what you understood? Because we can keep doing things repetitive until we know there's something different. And once we know there's something different, then it's your choice to ignore it. Right? Sometimes people just aren't ready. And you have to be honest with yourself. I am not ready to do another protocol. I am not ready to take another supplement. I'm not ready to leave my house. But if you're going to work with me, then I'm going to say, when is that time? Because I'm not going to allow you to sit in that.
You say stop.
That's a non-negotiable. That becomes that depressive, anxious like behavior. That's not going to give you gains. That's going to give you judgment. And you're judging yourself, and then you're going to compare, and then you're going to resent, and then you're going to get frustrated. And then you're going to increase that stress, and then you're going to get more acne, and then you're going to tell yourself how worthless you are and how you're not worthy and how people can't love you and how, you know, you failed your life, essentially.
And it domino effects into the whole entirety of your life, right? So it's like, how can we get you unstuck from that overcorrection or that fear of avoidance? And we like to say, like, can we reframe your trying again as actually becoming supported? Right? It's not about a quick fix. Because Cris and I both tell you straight up, you're not getting clear skin with a quick fix. And we don't want you to be alone in those decisions when you're stuck there being like, oh my gosh, do I add this? Oh my gosh, do I take this away? Do I need to switch this? Because when you have that support in place, it really helps you to be able to interpret the flares of not just your acne, but different symptoms instead of panicking about them. Because that's what happens is, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and this happened. I panic, I stop, and I go back to square one. You really need to be having that right structure in place, because it's reducing the emotional load of the journey you're experiencing. And your progress will start to feel so much lighter when someone is there, like, really helping you with the bigger picture, right? Really helping you that gentler progress is okay. You may get a flare. That is part of the journey. But how can we stop having those emotional spirals?
Love. The other thing I want to add to that is patience, which, yes, is not a P word that I often exhibit. However, patience
is key.
Grounded in understanding. And this is something I'm gifting myself for 2026, right? So patience, grounding, and understanding. So we are not blindly waiting. We are patiently grounding. There's two differences, right? That's a whole podcast. So I'm not going to get into that. So knowing why something is happening changes everything, right? What about fewer smarter inputs? Meaning the skin responds better to steady support than constant tinkering. Oh, like, we are not Tinkerbell. I don't have pixie dust. You know, the other thing that is key, and do I ever hammer this in? Respecting the body's pace. The skin is one of the last places to fully calm. So, you know, tracking those patterns, not single out the breakout. You know, the biggest glory for me is when a client says, you know what, I might get a pimple here or there, and it's noise. The pimple is noise. The trends tell the truth. So And that's, again, that's a teachable. It's a pimple is noise. So let's reframe that, reframing the flares as information. So, okay, what's your body, what do you think your body's trying to tell you? So they're like, Cris, I caught myself in the mirror, and they're like, yes. Oh, hello. Yes, I don't like you. You're not welcome here. But hey, girl, love you, right? Delineate. And then what? Follow the trends, right? We don't often follow the trends. How many people that have acne are taking pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Because I will tell you, not without a filter.
Not without a filter.
And you have bathrooms. So not only do you have to speak to people and you're thinking about the acne, you see yourself and you're thinking about the acne. When do you get a break from the acne? So, really staying rooted in the basics. Looking at, again, there's digestions, the minerals, the hormones last.
All the things we talk about.
Hormones last, everybody.
All the time.
But those are my cofactors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing we work on, and you'll probably, maybe jump into this, Katie, is progress actually looks like what? If I just said acne is not the first, it's the last, tell me what progress looks like.
Is your digestion better? Are you having daily bowel movements, healthy bowel movements? There's no straining. Are they looking more firm? Has our bloat gone down? Has maybe our energies picking up a little bit? Are we sleeping a little bit better? Are your periods not as painful? Has your brain fog reduced? All of these indicators tell us that the body is responding to the work that you're doing. And to the acne sufferer, this is going to feel like slow progress. You're like, but this is taking too long. This is too slow. Like, I need to be further ahead. No, you don't, because that definition of insanity, if we keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results, we can't be pushing through and going so fast and doing all of these things, because that's not what the body needs. The body needs to slow down. It needs time, patience, and consistency. And it needs that steadiness in order to actually make the gains long term.
We're also going to look at fewer emotional spirals after the breakouts, shorter flares, faster recoveries, right? What about trust?
Less obsession?
Trust is a big.
Trust.
But trust is like just, Katie loves loyalty, I love trust, so it is what it is. More trust,
I love my loyalty.
Even before the skin does what it does. You know who you have to trust? You. You have to trust that you have the information. You have to trust that your body will respond. The thing is we have such a stress response and a pattern that says, I have failed so many times before, and am I really worthy of this? That freaking narrative comes in all the time, and it's waiting for you to quote unquote fail. Why? Because then you can say you did, and then you can just live in the misery because it's comfortable.
The comfort and the discomfort.
And sorry if that's harsh, but listen, again, listen, right? You're like, all I do is listen. No, truly listen. You're worth it.
Absolutely. You are worth it. And I think that's something that erodes away, is when you've been doing this for so long, you don't feel worthy, you don't feel deserving. And, that comes from those limiting beliefs and those things that have happened to us. But just knowing that you deserve to feel better and you deserve to feel confident and have that self-esteem back. And it's so important that we don't give up on ourselves, because you can absolutely clear your skin. We've been working with clients who have acne for 30 years and they've cleared their skin, right? What makes that difference in having that being on that acne hamster wheel of things getting excited and things failing, is you need to have that right container that is able to hold you in what I like to call the acne middle, aka the messy middle, where things are changing, things are shifting, you want to give up, but being able to stay true to the time, patience, consistency in that container, do things in the right order, and have somebody that's going to give you that steadiness, give you that proper interpretation. It reminds you that this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Putting one foot in front of the other every single day and not expecting perfection.
By the time you've gotten to us, you're desperate. And it's okay to get support before you're desperate, because you'll go through cycles.
Absolutely.
Right? The skin goes through cycles. When you get to us, it might be that click where you're like, I can't take it anymore. And you bring that energy to me. Don't worry. I see it. I feel it. Right? And that's okay, because I'm going to work within that terrain. What I'm also saying is the days that you're not in that desperate mode, is it also a day to find yourself support? Right?
It's okay.
These small little things, everybody, you don't have to get stuck. There is no urgency for the progress. Nobody was going to agree with that statement, Katie.
They're all going to be like, where does Chris's address? I'm going to go.
There is no urgency to make your progress. The urgency is what you've told yourself you need to do. You know, that's not true. You know, around Christmas, somebody said, oh, Christmas just stuck up. And I'm like, oh, what about the 364 days before that? It didn't just sneak up. We allowed ourselves to put things in front of it. We allowed ourselves to tell ourselves we didn't need to do something. And we prioritized something differently. That's what it is. This is probably why people don't talk to me very much. I'm like, oh, really? And I get really intrigued on this stuff. I'm like, oh, tell me more about that. And they're just like, oh.
Because Cris doesn't sugarcoat anything ever. She never sugarcoats.
Yeah, but I don't have to be rude about it. I do come in with genuine curiosity.
Absolutely, she does.
I'm just like, you. And that light bulb goes on, and then my family just goes, it's time to go, Mom. Remove her before she embarrasses the family.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, remember, like it's about having clarity around your journey, having steadiness, giving your body time and not rushing things. So if you want to come hang out with Cris and I and the team in the Clear Skin Solution, we are always here whenever you're ready. Any questions on the episode, shoot me a DM, not Cris. She doesn't answer them. You won't get a response, but I would gladly chat with you as always. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you next week on Keep It Clear.